Me and my mom are going to the Radio and Television Museum. It's in Bowie, Maryland, and the address is 2608 Mitchellville Road. Today is May the 10th, 2014.
And we went in there around 3 o'clock.
And we went in there around 3 o'clock, and it's like 4:21. It's really cool, so I'm going to show you the video. I took a few videos of the tour guide, and then videos of just me. I'm going to make a documentary book report. This is the small one. I think I heard him say there's another one, but I don't know. But yeah.
Spark jumped across there, and it's just a coil of wire here, just like any other spark you'd ever seen, like a spark plug spark. When that spark goes across, it makes a radio wave that goes through the air. So this is a transmitter and a receiver. If you happen to know Morse code,
Right.
You know Morse code?
No. I don't.
If you knew it and you saw this light flashing, you'd know what the person was trying to say to you.
Oh, wow.
And you wouldn't need a wire.
Wow.
And a lot of people knew Morse code back in the 1800s because that was the only way to send a message.
Right.
So kids knew it, adults knew it. So,
Right.
But in any event, this was a way to do it without any wires. So that really made a big difference because now you don't need to have the wires anymore.
Right.
So that was the start of what we think of as radio. It's transmitting Morse code from one person to another. It was sort of like text messaging.
Right.
I'm going to send you a message and you're going to send me
Right.
one back. They used a lot of abbreviations, a lot of
Right.
shortened versions to save time and money. But it was a great way of communicating. The problem was that anybody with, in this case, a wire like this could hear what you were saying.
Right.
You couldn't. There was no tuning knobs. There was no
Right.
special stations. Anybody could hear it. But when it first started out, a lot of people experimented with it. They played with it. They tried it out, and that's how it started out. But it was really a way to make money because if I had one of these things, and you wanted to talk to somebody, you could write out what you want, and I'll charge you like $1 a word. I'll sit there with my key and I'll send it. Someone else will receive it. Send me back a message. I'll write down the received message, give it to you for another $1 a word, and I can make a lot of money doing it. And so that's how the business started out. Marconi was one of the people who made a lot of money.
Okay, I'll log in.
I want to count everybody.
That's cute.
But a lot of people had records, so you can look at them. And so a lot of things in this room, these are things that look nice and no boring furniture. This is that era when they were trying to sell them more to homeowners and families. Right. Out there was all sorts of different. I like that one in the corner. That's a nice one. That's painted. The speaker cone is painted.
That's gorgeous. Wow.
The speaker?
So this is the era when radios were nicer to look at, still sort of expensive. It's not good. Oh, this one works. Here's the microphone works. Back at the time in the 1920s, not everybody had a lot of plugs in their house. They may have had electricity,
That's
but it was
true.
mostly for the lights.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to plug something in, you had to get yourself a little adapter for your light like this, and you had this little thing that would screw into the other thing. And that's why it was often called socket power
Oh, yeah.
radios at the time. That was how they advertised them, socket power, so you could play by radio off the light socket. And then eventually when houses had more and more outlets, you plug them in. But there weren't a lot of things to plug in, so most houses, even with electricity, didn't have a lot of plugs going.
Oh,
So 78 RPM, just a built-in radio and a phonograph. Plus $475 for, again, an AM radio and a record player. No stereo or anything like that. But there were people who had the money and they were willing to spend it. It was before the Depression.
right.
In 1929, there was more money around, and it was brand new technology. Everybody wanted the brand new technology. Just like now, when something brand new comes out,
Yeah.
people want it, whether they can afford it or not. This is a portable radio from the 1920s. You can tell it's portable because it's got the handle on
Oh,
top.
my goodness.
Weighed 40 pounds. You had to put batteries in here. You had to bring a separate speaker with you. But it was the idea that you could people wanted to have radio with them everywhere. The problem was, most people might be able to afford a radio.
Right.
They couldn't afford two radios. Now this is 1930s going up to 1940, right before World War II. And this is the heyday of radio. This is when radio was, a lot of programs, Little Orphan Annie, Long Range or stuff like that was on the radio. Everybody had radios. They got less expensive. They got smaller, less expensive. People could have that second radio in their house.
Yeah.
No portables. There were very few portables this time. The portable thing had gone away. People weren't thinking that. But these all would plug in. They had built-in antennas. They were inexpensive radios. Some of them very small, but they worked pretty well. Not all of them were the old-fashioned wood look. They had something like this one here, which is made of glass and chrome. Very modern looking at the
Look at
time.
that one.
Some had push buttons on them.
Oh,
push
yeah.
button things. There were car radios that were starting to come out. Most car radios were sold by radio companies. The only company that actually sold cars that had built-in radios, you could get them that way. Most of them buy them separate, but it was one of those things people were getting. And gimmicks were starting to come out more. This is the
It went to 6.
Watch over here. Watch this when I do this.
That is so cute.
And you could also turn the volume up.
Wow.
Turn the volume down.
What year is this?
1939.
Wow.
But this is the first time you had a wireless remote control. Before that, they had some radios with wired remote controls.
Right.
It's had its own little transmitter in it, so it's got a tube and a battery and all that in here. It used the technology at the time. People had telephones, so this kind of thing was common to. This is the first digital technology. You could pick a number, it would send. If you push like 5, it sends 5 little pulses through the air. And it takes a motor in there and turns a wheel 5 places over. So, since all the radios basically were the same on the inside, to sell them you had to have gimmicks. This is one of the gimmicks. It's a very expensive gimmick. And there aren't many of these left that still work. You can still buy these things on occasion on eBay, but they don't work. These things are sort of hard to make work again. We have a shop across the street here that does restoration work. But this would also play, you can listen to any radio station you wanted to, not just the ones, the preset ones. But if you wanted to change one of the preset ones, you had to get a radio guy out to your house to do it. You couldn't do it yourself. They'd take the whole back apart and put stuff inside. But you could also tune it. You can get police calls on this, you get fire, you get airplanes, you can get foreign
This is back then, you said?
Oh yeah. Because back then the police calls were just on a regular frequency. They were not encrypted.
Yeah, you're right.
And in fact, the police departments, most police departments would actually send to people brochures that describe all the codes and everything. So if you're listening at home, here's what this means. This is 10 whatever, that's what it means we're doing, Because they sort of like the idea of people listening to it at home.
Right.
Until they found out the wrong people were listening to it at home.
Yeah.
And so then they started putting on different frequencies and all that. But at the early stage, they loved the idea of people listening. Some are made of plastic, still most of them are made out of wood. Again, getting less and less expensive, but some of them still have some unusual features. This one here has a phonograph in it, which is no big deal. We already saw phonographs, but it has 2 different what are called tone arms. This could actually record on a blank record disc.
Oh, wow.
That's a blank record,
Oh, my goodness.
and you would put that on here. And if you heard a song you liked on the radio, you could push a button and record the song onto your record, or you could use this microphone and record. It was not uncommon to send letters to people that way. Especially during World War II, they would send letters to soldiers that way. These are from the era of all the great radio shows. These would be, especially the one on the right, that would be a fairly expensive radio to have, but a lot of people had these what are called cathedral and tombstone radios in their homes. These are the nicer ones.
Yeah.
Tiniest TV screen, look. How can I watch TV on that?
That's why you put that thing on it.
Let's see.
It magnifies it.
Still. That's tiny. Rubber black. And this thing, it's not showing right now, but there's an orange light and it shows a really cool picture. And this is kind of like the first theater. One of the first theater TVs. There's a projector in here, and it shows on here, but it was very dim, so the people had to turn their lights off, and they had these because people all thought it was gonna mess with their eyes, but really it didn't. So, yeah. Okay. Weird TV, right? Okay, so compare this tiny TV over here, the magnify thing on it, to this one all the way over here. Yeah, research changed a lot since the 1940s. And this This is the first portable TV. It's when like the flat screen started, but it was terrible quality, but you could watch stuff like that in the game. This is one of the first color TVs. It was made in 1954. Funny thing was, they weren't that popular because there wasn't that many colored TV shows or movies, so they weren't that popular yet. And they're waiting for everyone to get TV so they could do that stuff. So yeah. Oh,
Gosh, I know it again.
TVs. I have a ABC Sports, them broadcasting and stuff. Awesome. I like them all like that. And then before that, they do sound effects for their movies and stuff. They have these for horse.
Oh, well, we're not doing it right.
I'm not a professional, okay? They call it Jacob's Ladder.
Oh, I didn't get the thing. Okay, I keep trying
Isn't
to
that
get
not awesome?
Keep doing it.
If you ever wanted what they did back then to make the
Did you do this
NBC
thing?
what they did back then to the NBC thing, here's what they did. This thing, it like monitors sound and stuff like that.
Big Bird Radio.
Cool, huh? And then, hello, hey. And then if I put it next to this, oh, I'm so sorry.
Alright, girl.
These cool radios that are now really, really, really cheap.
Do the ketchup and the hamburger.
Ketchup, there's a French fry, hamburgers.
Big Bird on the bottom.
There's a big
There's
bird.
a train.
It's a big bird. Mickey Mouse.
Oh, look.
Oh.
And see the train on the end?
And there's a train and a small radio, cars, even a rocket radio.
Oh, that's a Rolls Royce. That's expensive.
Rolls Royce radio. But if you keep it, because it could be worth a lot of money someday. That's what I'm gonna do. I had one of them. I need to find it. It's buried somewhere. And this is the more modern
Let me play some.
players and more modern songs. And this is another old one. Yep. But they have all these dials and stuff on it. This really old phone. It's one of the first. It's not the first, but it's one of
On
them.
the first flip phone.
The first flip phone. Sorry.
And by the way, save all your phones.
Yeah, save all of them because they can be worth a lot of money someday. Great for museums. But yeah. And by the way, you cannot text on this thing. The letters are just there to
It's hard
memorize.
for y'all to understand that.
It just is. Alright. Well, that was my tour of
It's much fun the second time.
the radio.
It's fun all the time.
Say hi.
Thank you.
You did an awesome job. And that was my trip to the Radio and Television Museum.